Hi YouTube, I am back with another video with the laminator. Now I'm going to show you how you can make full size foiled sheets. Yes, full size. So if you have a 12 by 12 inch laminator, you could do 12 by 12 inch foiled sheets, or like I have an 8.5 by 11, so that size works as well. You could basically do any size you desire. Now you're looking at several different results that I have, and you will get varying results depending on what type of adhesive you use and what technique you use. But nonetheless, I do have an easy way of making solid, beautiful foiled sheets. So let's get started. Okay, so in this first example, I'm going to be using a product that I believe is heat and bond. If it's not heat and bond, it's something very similar. It's a fusible that is used to fuse adhesive onto fabric, and it comes in a roll like this. I've cut a piece down to size, and I'm going to be using foil made by Cricut for their UDO machine. So I'm going to add the heat and bond to a piece of cardstock, and I'm using a carrier sheet by Heidi Swap, which I got from my local Joann's, and I'm going to fuse this heat and bond to the paper using my Purple Cows laminator. Okay, so that has went through. I'm having some laminator issues though. I have a new one coming tomorrow from Amazon. I destroyed one yesterday by not using a carrier sheet. Okay, so it has fused together nicely. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is remove the backing, and you can see that the heat and bond did transfer to the paper, and I'm going to use the Cricut foil. I'm going to apply the ugly side touching the adhesive. I'm going to send this back through the machine. This is ready. It's cooled down, and you do want it to cool down because if you don't, you might not get the coverage you desire. And let's remove it and check out the reveal. So this was one pass and not too bad. Just a little bit of foil did not transfer there. And I did run this through one time. But this was actually not bad for one pass. So for this next foiling example, I am using the good old Xyron machine. I have sent a piece of vellum through my Creatopia. I'm going to remove the backing. Just changed my cartridge, so I didn't get adhesive on this side here, and then I have like an indentation right there in the center of my paper. So the foiling, it will be affected by that, but I'm still going to use it. I still should get solid coverage where the adhesive is, however. So I'm going to lay this down, and I'm at a bad angle here. I wish I kept the recorder on there, but I want to show you something. It can be very tricky trying to lay down your foil. A piece accidentally touched in the corner there, and then I accidentally laid the color side down here. But nonetheless, I'm still going to use this same sheet, but it's not going to come out perfect, and it's hard to apply the foil. I'm going to add a little bit of, oh darn it, I just set the tape on top of the adhesive sheet. I'm going to add a little bit of tape to hold it down. And this is the We Are Memory Keepers envelope tape that came with their 1, 2, 3 punch from HSN. I don't use it for envelopes. I use it as a repositionable tape. It reminds me of that sticky note tape. So I'm going to go ahead and lay this down. Well, this is a great tip if you guys have problems with your foiling. At least applying the foil to your sticky sheet. And I don't want to tape down because there's some adhesive that's still exposed right there. So I'm going to pick it up. And this tape is great because it does not stick to anything. Now the great thing about Xyron is you do not need to use your laminator to fuse it. Let me show you an example of one I did. This is cardstock, and I simply added my Xyron adhesive to it, and I got full coverage except for these areas here, and that was my fault. But for this example, I am going to use my laminator because I've had just too many mistakes. And I never tried foiling with vellum before. But let me peel it back and see how it looks. Yeah, so with the vellum, I'm going to need to use the laminator. And I will be using the carrier sheet again. Okay, so it's finished and it has cooled down, but it looks raggedly. Yeah. But I want to show it anyway because you are bound to have or make these same mistakes. The true test is, did it cover the vellum? That's what I'm most interested in. Okay, ready for the reveal? Let's see. I sent this through one time. Now I knew I was going to have, it wasn't going to be perfect because my adhesive sheet was not perfect. But it did cover well, like that area. I knew that area was messed up. Really, this whole sheet had areas that was just messed up. So I'm not blaming the laminator. I'm going to blame the mistakes. But as you can see, the vellum, it did, if you could find the perfect spaces, then you do see solid coverage in a lot of these areas. So that did work. And once again, that was one pass. You know, I really like how this foiled vellum feels. It doesn't feel like paper. It has a really soft feel to it. So I went and made me a little envelope, and I just like the feel of that, and even the sound of it. It doesn't sound like cardstock. So I just wanted to show that. I'm going to be playing a lot with foiling vellum. So for this next example, I am using a product by Scotch. It's a big roll of adhesive, and I don't know what it's called. But what you do is you open it up and you lay your paper down on the adhesive, and you use a squeegee to make sure that you get a nice coverage of adhesive. Now, I'm not sure if the camera will pick this up, but there's a texture there. And so I know it's not going to be smooth like the Xyron machine, but I want this look. Send the foil through without the carrier sheet because it's a large sheet of paper, so I'm not worried about that getting stuck. So for this example, I have run this through my Xyron machine, but I just wanted to point out there are areas that don't have sticky on it. There, and along this border here. I So in this example, I am not going to use the laminator. I'm going to take my squeegee and smooth it out. You don't have to do this. Now, if I did use my laminator, those areas that didn't have adhesive, the heat would probably smooth it. Oh, that's an interesting look. I've never seen that type of look before. Wow, that's neat. Okay, so in this example, I have ran cardstock through my Creatopia, and I am going to send this one through the laminator. And because it's a larger sheet, I am not going to use my carrier sheet this time. Okay, so this one is cooling down, but I could tell that's going to be perfect coverage because the foil is smooth and shiny. In this example here, this is also Xyron that I've run through the same cardstock, but I am not going to put this one through the laminator. I'm going to use my squeegee just to make sure all the crinkles are out the paper. So this paper does have some wrinkles in it. It's still kind of warm, so I'm going to. And you can see the coverage is pretty good. Over here though, I still see some brown coming through. This area looks really good. So let me put that back down side. Okay, no, so I still have some foil on the film, but the coverage was not bad. Now, I have to admit, when I laid down the foil on this one, I had more difficulties. I had to use the tape again to help me. But I will put this one through the laminator to see if it will smooth out those tiny specks in there. In the meantime, let's see how this one fared. I can tell already, this one looks really good. Wow, look at that. That's perfect. Wow. You know what? I don't see any scratches except for one right there. I really took my time with this one because that film or that foil is very finicky. But this came out perfect. Oh, perfect, perfect, perfect. Okay, so this one has cooled down a bit. So let's see how this one fared. So I still got some, I see brown specks in there. But that area that was on the film is not on the film. So this coverage wasn't bad. I didn't have adhesive on this side here. So this coverage still wasn't bad. So if you don't have a laminator, you can still achieve foiling with the Xyron machine. So in this last example, I'm going to use sticky dots, die cut adhesive, which I have on this large piece of paper here. Peel it off, and I'm going to apply Cricut's foil to that. So I have applied Udo's foil, and I'm just going to gently smooth it down. Don't want to rub it too much. And I'm not going to put this through the laminator. And I didn't cover all the adhesive, so just wanted to show you what type of look you can get. For some reason, it's always saturated right there in the center. And I don't know if I rubbed it too much, but there might be a cause to have something that looks like this. So I just wanted to point out that you can try your hand at different types of adhesive. It doesn't have to be the solid adhesive like Xyron, but it can be the sticky dot adhesive. So for a quick recap, you can use different types of adhesive. This was used with the heat and bond, and you know what, I realized the feel and the texture of the heat and bond is quite different from the feel of the Xyron with cardstock and the Xyron with vellum. They all feel different. This is silky smooth. I don't know how else to describe that. So once again, this was the vellum, foiled vellum, and I love the feel of this. It has a special, like a glassine. Yeah, a glassine feel to it, and I just love that crinkly sound. And this one was Xyron sent through the laminator, and this one was Xyron not sent through the laminator. And I did these the other day. This was that big roll of Scotch adhesive, and you can really see the texture in there. I could have got more coverage if I would have used the squeegee. I probably didn't, but there might be a time when you want to have a look like this. And this is another full sheet here. I'm not sure what I used there, but I'm going to put all these pieces to good use. And then these two pieces here, this one was, well, this is Xyron on cardstock inside the laminator, and this one is Xyron cardstock without the laminator. And then this one had an interesting look to it. It reminds me of the wood grain. And this paper has a texture to it too. And so these vertical lines might be due to the texture in the paper. So there's variations there. And here's another one. This was the Scotch, that big roll of Scotch through the laminator. And I don't recall this one. Oh, this was Xyron without the laminator. And this last one, once again, was the sticky dots without the laminator. Well, I hope you guys have found this video useful. Just remember, when you're working with foil, it's finicky, and it might be easier to use a repositionable tape to tape down the corners of your foil, and then you could lay your sticky on that side. Well, have a blessed day, and thank you guys for watching.